everyone, and welcome back to Kenji Martial Arts. Now today I want to address a topic which I've seen posted online quite a lot recently, about people concerned about smaller or weaker people trying to overcome much bigger and stronger opponents. Now this does go into a few heavier topics than I usually talk about, so of course viewer discretion is advised. It is a very complicated topic, so I'll do my best to keep it as simple as humanly possible. Believe me, writing the script for this video took longer than I would have liked, but hey, it helps to use the right terminology. Now there's no real easy way to say it, so I'll just spit it out. A taller and heavier person usually translates them into being much stronger, and smaller, less physically inclined and untrained people will probably not be able to beat this larger opponent in a 1 versus 1 fair fight, where for example both fighters share the exact same knowledge of the same martial arts system and know about the same tactics, so in all eventuality the larger, stronger fighter will more than likely win. There are of course exceptions to this, but two people who know the other's fighting style, know the same tactics and have made the right preparations for the other fighter, it is in all likelihood that the larger, stronger and heavier fighter will win. Which is why it really does pay to go away and learn and train new other tactics and skills. Cross-training for the win. Now that's all well and good, but that unfortunately is not the issue that I found. The issue that people don't seem to understand is that in a non-consensual violence scenario, where say for example a smaller person is being robbed by a much bigger and heavier person, the goal of the smaller person is not to leave the bigger person bloody on the pavement, knocked out with a few teeth missing. No, the goal of your self-protection skills in this situation is to get away from the danger and get to safety. That's the goal, and that's always been the goal. Not to get into a fight and get severely injured or dead. If someone tries to rob you violently with a weapon, for example, the appropriate means of getting away from them is giving them what they want, be it your phone or your wallet, and then getting the hell out of there as soon as humanly possible. Physical things like your phone or your money are not worth your life. Give them what they want, then get the hell out of there and get to safety, be that going straight home or to the nearest police station. Now there are situations where you think it might be the right choice to fight. You're not getting away unscathed, and all it does take is a slight push, slight stab for your life to be over. Again, there are so many different violence dynamics and situations where you will need to fight back as well. So if you do want to learn more and more about this sort of scenario training and these sorts of situations and dynamics, I recommend looking at Rory Miller's books. Now, Rory Miller is from the US and he's got lots of books out. He writes about the various situations he's been in, and he's been involved with various martial arts and security services throughout most of his life. So his books are most certainly worth taking a look at. Personally, I've read this one, Facing Violence. It is definitely worth taking a look at if you are interested in learning these sorts of things. I'll leave a link down in the description. If you are interested, by all means go and check it out. Now that's a bit on non-consensual violence. In martial arts, violence that you face is consensual. You have quite literally paid and agreed to be there. Now back to the bigger versus smaller idea. In a competition setting, you will almost never be faced with an opponent that's got a major weight advantage over you. Weight categories exist in combat sports. This helps give each fighter a bit more of an equal chance against the opponent they're facing. So hopefully a good matchup will be someone with equal strength, weight, size and height. Don't get me wrong, this is not perfect by any means. It'd be interesting to see a matchup with someone shorter but denser muscle and against someone taller but a much leaner frame. The weight category could actually balance out there and they could fight. Well, that sounds like fun, doesn't it? I mean, what is this, a crossover episode? But arguably, full-time athletes, when they do go for their weigh-ins and then step in the ring, they will almost be entirely lean muscle at that point. So that scenario probably doesn't work, sorry. Now, one thing that I want to talk about is martial arts and warfare. They've always been about trying to one-up the opponent. It's always been about a weaker side trying to find a way to overcome the other side, which is considerably stronger. Gotta love human ingenuity. Let me explain. Let's say we've got person 1 and person 2. Person 1 creates a metal sword. How is it countered? Person 2 creates a metal shield. Person 1 creates a bow and arrow to kill at a distance. Person 2 then creates a full set of armour to go along with his shield, but now they've also got a sword because they saw what the other person did. Person 1 gets their own shield and armour, but now they create a catapult. Person 2 doesn't like that, so what do? They build really high stone walls and really strong reinforced gates. Person 1 thinks, how can they get around this? So they create a trebuchet which hits a lot further and a lot stronger. And to get rid of the gates, they decide to create a battering ram. Person 2 doesn't like that, so when they get close to the battering ram, From their really tall, high stone walls, they start throwing oil and fire at them. So you can see how these sorts of things can escalate and improve and do what they can to get over the other person. So let me put this in martial arts terms for you. Person 1 learns how to punch. Person 2 learns how to cover and block. Person 1 learns how to kick. Person 2 learns how to evade. Person 1 learns how to clinch. Person 2 learns how to throw. Person 1 learns how to break fall from the throw. Person 2 learns submissions. Person 1 learns how to tap. It's a cycle of evolution through forced improvement, which is how it's been for all martial arts throughout the ages. If it didn't work, it didn't survive. I mean, nowadays, literally all martial arts survives because we don't need martial arts to try and beat another person. We can do it for recreational purposes. Therefore, everything gets kept and everything gets recorded. So if you do want to be a bigger and stronger person, there are other ways to do it. There's always a solution, no matter how much stronger they are. Unless you're a Jedi, never meet force with force. A very recent example of that modern martial arts evolution was the Gracies, who invented Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from learning Judo. They learned it, but they expanded heavily on the ground fighting aspect of it. By putting their opponent on the ground and tying them up with a strong submission, it took away their opponent's ability to grapple, clinch or throw with them. And arguably now it's probably the world's most popular combat sport. Whether or not they specifically saw strikers as a problem or not, they did come up with a solution for it. It is one person upping themselves over the other person, regardless of the size. Remember, bigger versus smaller, that aspect is still in play here. Examples for me is I train Judo. I'm a yellow belt, not the highest of belts, but hey ho. And there are higher belts, but if I were to fully resist against one of their throws, it would be harder for them because some of the higher belts are smaller than me. So for them to evolve their game is to find other ways to off-balance me. Don't tell them that. In karate, I'm a pretty decent striker and grappler, but in sparring, it's harder for me to make clear, clean shots against an opponent with much longer limbs than me, because all they need to do is really just keep me at bay. They can just keep me pushed away. So another way for me to get around that is make sure I'm nimble enough to weave through their shots and get to where I need to hit. This is the other way of doing things. There's always another solution, another way of overcoming that bigger, stronger opponent. It pays to know different tactics. Anyway, that's the martial arts side of things. It's always about improvement and evolution against someone else and their art and their specialties. Do not confuse this with self-protection against a larger opponent in a non-consensual violent setting. Always seek to do what is necessary and get out alive and get to safety unscathed. I did jump around quite a bit in this video, I will admit, but I hope that this point is clear that non-consensual real-world violence and its goals and consensual violence in a dojo are two completely separate matters. It's very important to distinguish the goals between the two, and that if necessary there are always ways around bigger and stronger opponents. But it is again up to you to go out and learn them, and of course when it is best to use them. You will never have sparring gloves in a street fight. Anyway, that's all from me for today. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit me up on my socials. And of course, I wish you all the best with your training. Take care.